Welcome back to DIY Wood Revival. Today, I'm going to show you how I built this plant pot holder out of reclaimed New Zealand reedwood. Let's get started.
This plant pot, I'm going to be using these beautiful reclaimed Remu 2x4s. The one has this stunning knot on it that I really want to show off. To start, I ripped both down the centre on the table saw to give me 4 2x2s. I'm going for a 3-legged design on this project. No particular reason, just thought it would look cool. Like most of my projects, this idea came from wandering around the house and seeing something and thinking, I could make that better. In this case, it was a beautiful monstera sitting in a tacky old pot holder that was probably made in a sweatshop for a few cents. This timber is pretty bowed. I could try and trim it down in a way to remove the worst of it, but I think it gives it more character, and I don't want to hide the fact that it came out of the wall of someone's house. Next I took 3 of the 2x2s and trimmed them down to length on the miter saw. The 4th one will make up the 3 horizontal sections that will join everything together. I'll also be adding a taper to the inside edge of each leg. As you can see, this is a homemade tapering jig. If you want to see how I put it together, there's a link in the description and on the screen now. It's pretty simple. Decide how much taper you want, screw the block down to the base and then run it through the table saw. I made the same tapered cut on both ends of each leg. All 6 cuts came out identical and took less than 5 minutes. With the legs at their final dimensions, I moved on to the horizontal sections. For these I used that spare 2x2 from the beginning. To get the 3 horizontals to meet evenly, I made a 30-degree cut on opposite sides of each horizontal. With a stop block set up and the miter saw being set to exactly 30 degrees, this came out pretty accurate.
Alright, moment of truth. Hopefully this works. That meets there. That meets there. Oh yeah, that's bloody bang on, mate. Ripper.
Time to assemble. I'll be using dowels to attach everything together. I'm sure it would have been strong enough with just the glue, but the dowels will help me line everything up as well. Yeah, I don't have a vise, so I had to improvise with a couple of clamps and 2 pieces of scrap wood. I also probably should have drilled the dowel holes before I made the ends pointed. But hey, every day is a school day. Next I'm going to attach a horizontal section to each leg, and then I'll fill all the nail holes and knots with CA glue before I come back and sand everything. And then I'll do the final assembly where I attach all 3 legs together.
Okay, that's the horizontal section attached to each of the legs. I'll leave that to dry overnight. While that's drying today, because I'm a bit impatient and I want to get this done, I'm just going to hit it with some black CA glue to fill all the nail holes. There's quite a few nail holes because it's reclaimed Remu out of a house. There's a few cracks and whatnot as well, so we'll fill that up with black CA glue.
This Starbond CA glue is great. I'm using the black medium here with the accelerator. Once the accelerator hits the glue, you only have to wait a couple of minutes and it's ready to sand, or add another coat. I could have tried to fill or hide all these imperfections, but I like the idea of emphasizing the fact that this is reclaimed wood. Ended up doing about 3 coats of CA glue to get everything filled in. And then I hit everything with 120 grit to get it fairly smooth before final glue up.
Okay, that's the legs all sanded up with 120, looking pretty smooth now. Before I do the glue up though, I think I'll hit these verticals with a roundover on the router. Give it a nice smooth edge, it's very sharp at the moment. So do that, glue it up, and then hit everything with 320, finish it.
Adding a roundover is one of those little details that just takes the project to the next level. And I just got a new set of router bits, so any excuse to give it a go.
Okay, that's it, sanded, all the edges rounded over. Next step is assembly. To finish it off, I'll just have to put a dowel on each of these joints. It's just going to be holding a pot plant, so I'm sure glue will be strong enough, but I'll add a dowel just to make sure that it doesn't fall apart at any stage. I've marked them out there, chuck a dowel in and you're good to go.
I really eyeballed these dowel holes, but by some miracle they lined up perfectly. The more I look at this thing, the more it reminds me of Sauron's helmet from Lord of the Rings. I didn't have one of those fancy strap clamps, but I did have a ratchet strap, which worked well enough. I just had to be careful the hardware didn't scratch the wood. Alright, that's the glue up complete. Got a real good fit with that join, that's nice and tight there, hardly a gap. I've finished with Danish oil. It really brings out the rich warm tones of the Remu, and the colour pairs brilliantly with the black CA glue. And there it is, all finished. I'm stoked with how this came out. That's a much better home for this plant. The way the black CA glue and the knot contrast with the rest of the wood looks stunning.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more DIY wood revival content. Thanks for watching.